Hi there, Sonja here from the Art of Stamping. Today I want to share with you how I created this card with my Misti tool for perfect stamp placement with rubber stamps. And you'll also see how I color in my images with colored pencils. I'm using some cute little stamps by Purple Onion Designs on this card today. I started off planning to not only use the bird and the branch stamp, but also a little bunny I wanted to place on the ground below the branch. In the end, however, I felt that the space between the bunny and the branch were too large, so I cut the part with the bunny off and only used the bird and the branch for my card. Aside from the stamps, I'm using craft cardstock by Crafter's Companion today, and my favorite thing's hybrid ink in black licorice for stamping. Now you also see a Stamp-O-Magic on my craft table, and a lot of people use the Stamp-O-Magic when creating scenes with Purple Onion Design stamps. That's because these stamps are rubber stamps, and compared to clear stamps, the difficulty with them is that you cannot exactly see where you are stamping your image. So when you want to stamp a scene, as I did on this card when placing the bird on the branch, you have to use a tool which helps you to position the stamp on the exact spot you want to have it. The Stamp-O-Magic is such a tool. However, I've never been able to manage it well. It's decisive that you don't move the stamp positioner anymore after having found the correct spot for your stamp, but it seems I'm always too nervous when stamping scenes, and I quite often shift it so that the scene looks crooked in the end, or at worst I have to start all over again. So I thought of a way to position rubber stamps with the Misti. As with the Stamp-O-Magic, you'll need a clear sheet of acetate to do so. I'm using the acetate sheet that comes with the Stamp-O-Magic here, but of course you can easily cut your own sheet from old packagings, transparent pockets or the like. What's important is that you fix the acetate sheet well to the Misti, because as with the Stamp-O-Magic, it's decisive that you do not move the sheet anymore after having stamped your image. What you will have to move is your paper. I made a mistake right at the beginning here, because I not only held down the acetate with the magnets but also the paper. When it came to moving the paper, I removed both magnets before securing the acetate again, and lucky as I am, I of course accidentally moved the acetate and had to start all over again. So if you want to try out my method, keep in mind that you always have to secure the acetate first with at least one magnet before moving the paper. Now let's examine my method more closely when it comes to stamping the second image, the bird, which I want to place on the branch. I start by placing the acetate over the paper again and holding it down with some magnets. I then position my bird at a spot where I think it might be placed correctly. I close the Misti's lid to make the stamp cling to it, ink up the stamp and stamp it onto the acetate. Now I can see if my image is placed correctly or if I have to make adjustments. Should adjustments be necessary, which is quite likely, I do not move the stamp on the Misti's lid, but the paper I stamp my image on. First off, I move my magnets to the side so that they only hold down the acetate. My paper is now released and can be moved. I move my paper back and forth until the image I stamped onto the acetate sheet is positioned at exactly the spot where I want it to go on the paper. I then hold my paper down again with some magnets so that it can't move anymore, and only after that I remove the acetate. Now I can stamp down my image as usual, and it will be positioned exactly where I want to have it. Some of you who are more at ease with the Stamp-O-Magic as I am might probably find that this is a very complicated method for correct stamp placement, but I am really happy to have found this way. You probably won't like to invest in a Misti only because of what I showed you here, but if you call a Misti your own and have troubles using the Stamp-O-Magic, you might as well try out my method to see if it could be of any help for you. Now that my scene is stamped, I can go ahead and color in my images. Today I'll be using Caran d'Ache's Luminance pencils for it. I only shortly discovered these and I'm absolutely fascinated by them. They combine the richness and the softness of the Prismacolor pencils with the sturdiness of the polychromos. And though they don't have the huge color range of the two other brands, they're close to becoming my new favorites. Just observe how wonderfully rich the color is going to be on this image. In the meantime, I'll speed up the video a bit and play some music for you. Later, I'll be back to show you how I finished off my card. So now the coloring is done, I can assemble my card. I prepared a square card base from a piece of cream cardstock measuring 21 by 10.5 centimeters, which is a little less than 8.5 by 4.25 inches. I also die cut a scallop square from green cardstock with the largest of my favorite things is stitched mini scallop square dies. What's still missing is a greeting. And as the bird on the branch is such a pretty spring image, I decided on a stamp reading "Have a great day." It's also by Purple Onion Designs, and I think it fits quite well to the happy scene. I'm stamping it directly onto the colored panel, and to get it straight, I'm applying the same positioning method I've shown you before. Now all that's left to do is to assemble my card and to embellish it with a few sparkling sequins. And that's it for my card today. Thank you so much for watching. Should you have any questions or remarks, just comment on my blog or in the YouTube section below. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked the video and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of my card making stuff. Have a nice day. Bye!